So I'm Dr. Shannan Simms, and through the unapologetic edge, one of the things that I'd like to do is to really help people understand kind of what's kind of happening in our head as we kind of go through our day to day, as we're making decisions in the moments that matter. And so this model is called the invisible loop. It's the engine that's kind of running our reactions in those moments that are important to us, those high stake uh, moments. So think of it as two loops that are interacting at any given point in time. There's the internal interpreter, the things that are going on inside our head, and then there's the external room that's sending the signals. So the things that are going inside our head, it's how we assess, how we filter, catalog, learn, code. It's all of the cognition that is happening, right? You think cognitive psychology. And then the external room, it's the environments that we're in. Our individual interactions, those relationships, that back and forth. It's our community when we're at work, when we are in school, when we're in religious environments, in society, depending on where we grew up, where we currently live, what region, if you're in the United States, right? What state, what city, what community, but even regionally, being in the United States, what country. And then there's this crossing point where the signals that you're receiving from the external environment and how your brain is interpreting it happens so fast. There's this collision, this crossing point, that your brain is processing it at 200 milliseconds, and you're making judgments faster than you can even understand what is happening. And it is the result of it is twofold. You have a perceived reality of what is happening at any given point in time in a specific room, and then you take an action, and it is a patterned response. It's kind of like a knee-jerk reactions. And what it's informed by, it's driven by cognitive shortcuts that we take before we even realize it. That moment where we say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I have a question, or we feel ourselves shrinking in a situation, or feel like, oh, I'm such an idiot. Why did I say that? It's an internal script that we repeat to ourselves before we have time to even kind of process what has happened. And it's habits that we execute out of reflex. Now, what happens is that those then feed back into the way that we're thinking, and it feeds back into the environment. So people are like, well, then, so what do you do about it? Well, because we can't, 200 milliseconds. How do you stop 200 milliseconds? Well, you can't catch that, right? So the act and the art of stopping this is twofold. It's combining the act of metacognition, which is the act of thinking about thinking, with choice architecture. I always explain it that like Neo in the Matrix, where Morpheus gave him the red pill and the blue pill. Now you have a choice, right? You can, see the reality, or go back to sleep. But choice architecture is how organizations and businesses will put choices in front of people to make it easy to make a specific choice. It's how web designers will make decisions about putting a button in front of somebody because it'll make it easier for them cognitively to kind of take a specific pattern. App designers do it. Stores do it to lead you to a purchasing pattern. Well, applying choice architecture to yourself. So it's the act of, I recognized, I just got flinchy, what was happening before that, and kind of, as you reflect, outlining choices ahead of time, so that then the next time over time, you are identifying your personal body signal, and you have the choices in front of you, and you get quicker and quicker and quicker at making a different choice. And what you're doing is you're changing your perception on reality, and you are changing your behavior, and you're feeding things back into the loop. And so you are actually changing what that crossing point triggers. And over time, you are actually changing what the crossing point does for you. So that is, in a nutshell, what the invisible loop is, and how the engine runs your reactions, and how you can change that in the moments that matter.